In this webinar, we are going to go over the Everything Disc Catalyst. We are going to talk about the importance of the human skill. We're going to give you a learner experience overview, dive into the Catalyst platform a little bit. We'll talk about some facilitation tips. Our mission as DISC Profile with the help of Catalyst is to first and foremost deliver top tier customer service. We want to help your people work better together. We want to give you the tools for success, and we want to give you the confidence to tackle Catalyst within your organizations. In February of 2022, there was a survey done by the Wiley research team, and what they came up with was these top 5 ranked importance of the human skills. While social and emotional wasn't the top, it is something that is up there, and that is where Catalyst thrives. 82% of people surveyed said that their culture would improve with a stronger social and emotional environment. But 77% said that they have actually worked in an area where the social and emotional skills created a toxic working culture. So that rising need for the social and emotional skill left 97% of people agreeing that it is worth their team's time to develop, but only 10% of them actually agreed that they knew how to make that happen. So in developing that social and emotional human skill, you have to recognize and unlearn some deep-seated differences within your organization. And Catalyst is a good way to do that. It is a new formula with Everything DISC. It does still take on that personalized learning experience. It creates a social environment for your participants and your learners, and it allows you to take advantage of that practice piece, with Catalyst really focusing on that practice, return, and learn area. Everything DISC and Catalyst is perfect for that personalization. It's scientifically researched and validated. It has a 90% or above accuracy rating worldwide. It does give a narrative style debrief that really touches on that personalized experience to help them understand themselves and others. Everything DISC has that social component where it's bringing people together, whether that's in person or it's in a virtual setting, so that way you can do those debriefs and inspire those rich conversations. And then on that practice side, Everything DISC is going to elevate the impact within your company, making it an ongoing learning. And it's much easier for both the facilitator and the learner to keep DISC alive within that organization. So Catalyst is a personal development and learning experience. It sets that foundation to work better together no matter where you are, but it still does have that familiarity of the traditional Everything DISC assessments. If that's something that you've been using for a while, it's easier to make that jump and get into Catalyst than some might think. It does combine the Everything DISC with a flexible facilitation and that powerful platform. It gives participants a better understanding of themselves, and it allows them to appreciate and value others. I have a short video that I'm going to show you that Wiley has put together. It gives a brief overview of kind of what we're going to dive into today, and then I'll quickly kind of summarize that, and we'll dive into some other stuff, looking at the platform and stuff.
Your office environment has changed, making the need to collaborate critical. Everything DISC has proven to make workplace interactions more fun and effective by teaching people more about themselves and others. And now, no matter where your people are working, they can access the magic of Everything DISC on a new platform we call Catalyst. It's simple. People take a brief assessment and discover their unique DISC profile, offering them rich, personalized insights about themselves and others. Then, Catalyst turns insights into action with the new colleagues features where people can compare their DISC styles and gain real-time tips for working better together. The colleagues feature helps people understand what their colleagues' strengths are, what they care about, when to pull them into a project for support, and what stresses them out. Whoa. It shows similarities and differences, and even compares preferences across a range of workplace behaviors, like where people focus their energy or their preferred pace. Go further with tips on demand that help your people work better together in a variety of situations, like navigating tension, connecting, or effective collaboration. Everything DISC on Catalyst also provides easy access to applications you know and love, like Workplace, Agile EQ, and more, making ongoing learning possible. And here's the cool part. Catalyst supports classroom and virtual training, creating a learning experience that inspires lasting change. So, whether your people are in the office, at home, or somewhere in between, everything DISC on Catalyst can help you shape a more engaged, collaborative workforce that works.
So with everything DISC and Catalyst, the promise to the learners is to make that social and emotional human skill growth fun for them. And the promise to the organization is to give it an engaged, collaborative, and adaptive culture that drives results from anywhere. In that video, it talked about learning that lasts. It's transforming that once and done environment into that return and learn process, giving you an opportunity to practice and bring people's attention back to DISC and allowing them to take advantage of that powerful platform, giving them a home base for ongoing learning, both in the classroom and outside beyond work. They're going to have the tools to do that. And it's going to bridge that gap between insight and application. So how it works, from your administrative side, you're going to manage this from an Epic administrative account. If you don't already have one, we do have them available on our site for purchase. You can take a look at DISCprofile.com. You are able to track your participant completion. You can add additional applications from inside that account. You can create your own group reports, and you can do your own comparison reports as an administrator. And then if you do have an existing account and you have a lot of people that have taken what we traditional everything DISC profiles, you can do the bulk migration and get people over into Catalyst a lot easier than you might think. So that way it's not lost. They can still do the conversion and upgrade into Catalyst. From a participant perspective, they're going to receive a link in their email. It's going to take them roughly 20 to 30 minutes to complete that questionnaire, and then it's going to launch them straight over into that learning platform. And in that learning platform, it's going to have interactive learning modules. They are going to be able to download their completed reports in a PDF. They can see and compare with colleagues. They can build their own group maps, and they have opportunity to do what we call conversation starters. And the newest feature, which is get advice. If things get tense or you want to learn how to collaborate with a specific coworker or colleague, you can have that access as well. If you do have an existing admin account and you have quite a few, or even just a couple profiles, and you do want to upgrade people into Catalyst, there is a free upgrade to Workplace on Catalyst through the end of 2024. So we will take a look from a couple different perspectives here. The first one that we're going to talk about is that admin view. So if you do have an admin account, and it is purchased through us at DISCprofile.com, it is going to look something fairly similar to this. If you have been in here, the process to send out an access code is going to be fairly similar. There's a couple differences that I'll go over. I do want to just point out that we always have our contact information here available for you. And there is a couple quick links to get you over to our website as well. If you wanted to purchase Epic credits, you can click on that big purple button there. We do like to keep a what's new tab for you. So anything that's new or happening with DISC or inside your admin account, we try to keep you up to date on all of that. To send out an access code, it's just a few clicks to get this process started. But we're going to go under that manage reports drop down. We're going to go ahead and click on create new report / issue access code. Our product family is going to be everything DISC, and then our product is going to be this top option here. It says Catalyst everything DISC. This is if you are sending out to a brand new user, or if you are sending out to an upgrade, you are going to start with everything Catalyst everything DISC. This is probably the most critical piece about Catalyst is the organizations. This is how you keep all of the people within each organization able to see only those inside their organization. So if we start typing my organization name and I'm taking a look at this list, if I'm not seeing my organization on here and I want to add my organization, I can do that. It does bring up an opportunity for me to enter in both the location and a logo, like you'll see on that top option there. If I see something here that does make sense for me, it is the organization that I'm trying to go to, I am able to click on that, or I can create a new organization. For this example, we'll just use this DISCprofile.com sample. And just keep in mind, anybody that you select this organization for will be able to see everybody inside that organization. So by default, everybody is going to get access to Workplace on Catalyst. It is going to be 15 credits for a brand new learner to have access to Catalyst and the Workplace learning modules. If I wanted to give them from the very beginning access to management or Agile EQ learning modules, I can do that. If I wanted to hang on to those and use that as a return and learn feature, I could definitely do so. But if I do check these boxes, you'll notice that the credit amount goes up. For this example, we'll just leave those other two unchecked, pretending I'm going to come back in 6 months and I'm going to give the management team access to management, or I'm going to send everybody access to Agile EQ. We'll go ahead and click on next, and it's going to give us just a little reminder of what we're doing. The Catalyst profile, we're only giving them the Workplace application. I do have an opportunity to create folders inside this admin account if I really wanted to. This is my opportunity to organize my own admin account a little bit if I want to. I can go ahead and select a folder, or if I wanted to create a folder, I could do that as well. If I wanted to go a step further and create a subfolder, I could absolutely do that as well. And then when I come back into my admin account, as I grow and I'm looking for people, I can sort by these folders. And that's the real benefit to these folders here. You do have an opportunity to customize how you get your email links to your participants as far as when they get them. If you do want to put a little bit of a delay on it, you can go ahead and click that on this date bubble. It does bring up a date and time that you'll send out your access codes to your participants. This is beneficial if you are wanting to put a little delay and send an email out of your own inbox. You can trigger that delay to go out a little bit later today, next week, whatever makes sense to you. And then you know exactly when these participants are getting their links. And then the send a reminder option, if I click if not completed by, this is making Epic do the work for me. That way I don't have to come in here and check who has and has not completed. It'll set up a date and time. Typically people are putting this like maybe 2 to 3 days before the deadline to have their codes completed. And then Epic will send them an email letting them know that they need to go ahead and complete that questionnaire. That way Epic is doing all of the tracking as far as who hasn't completed and reaching out to them versus you having to come in and do that on your own. If you wanted to go ahead and put a custom subject in there as well, you could make it a little bit more urgent and make it work for you. You can go ahead and type that in this custom subject box, and then that will appear in that subject line. When we get down into the add respondent section, there's a couple different ways to do this. So if you have just a few people that you need to send out codes to, you're welcome to go ahead and just type in their email address under this enter individual tab. So we go ahead and type in one email name and then leave the quantity as 1. And then once I have all of that information entered into there, I would go ahead and I'm going to click on this add button here, and we'll notice that that information drops down here on the bottom, and then leaving those boxes blank again. Like I said, this is beneficial if you have just a couple people that you want to send out links to. If you do have quite a few people that you want to send out new links to, you can use this import from Excel. If you have an admin account, I recommend go ahead and download this import template. You can save this to your computer and use this over and over again as you grow in your account. And when you get to this part of sending out your access codes and you have that template already downloaded and saved to your computer, you would just come in here and you click upload, and then Epic is going to grab all that information off that Excel document, pull it into here, and your participant list is going to match what you put in your Excel document. If you do have a couple people that you want to upgrade, you have a smaller group, not the bulk migration, but if you have just a few people that you want to upgrade, they have profiles that are completed inside your admin account. You can click the Use Existing Reports tab. When we click on Search, it does bring up a search criteria. You can get as specific in this as you would like to. I'm just, for this example, I'm going to hit search, and it's going to pull up everybody that's in this account. It is a small account. I only got about 9 people in here. Then I can go through and I can select the people that I do want to send these codes to. So we'll go ahead and grab just a few of these. Just a few of these people. And I'll go ahead and, after I have my whole group selected, I'll click next, and we'll look at this respondent list. We'll notice that everybody but that top one has a little icon next to their name. What this means is that I'm going to be sending them a code, a new code based off of their existing reports. So they won't have to answer quite as many questions. And the benefit is that I'm sending to 6 people. I'm upgrading them all into Catalyst, so they have the workplace learning module. It's not costing me any credits. So I'm sending out a total of 6 people for the cost of 15 credits. It says 1 or more respondent qualifies for that credit discount. You'll notice that you can do any profile that's there. Like I have a management, a productive conflict, sales, work leaders. Even if it's not a learning module that's inside Catalyst yet, you can still use their existing data. So once I have my whole list ready to go, I'll go ahead and click on this I confirm, and I'll go ahead and assign access codes. I'm going to get a prompt that's going to tell me how many credits will be deducted from my account, and I'll go ahead and click OK on that. And then custom messages are a feature that have come back around. They do look just a touch different, but if you already have an existing admin account, you'll remember the custom message feature. I think it was gone for most of 2023, but it is back and it is super beneficial. We'll go ahead and click OK because I do want to show you that. So it is just a basic text box, but this is your opportunity to put any sort of information that you feel that your participants need to know before they take their questionnaire, when they need to have it completed by, kind of a time constraint, who to reach out to if they have any questions. If you do have custom message templates created, you can pull from those. If you wanted to just type a message on the fly, you could do that as well. I'll go ahead and select this custom message template that I have, and then I can still edit that. So if this is going to be for the Catalyst profile, and I do want to go ahead and adjust this. This is 20 to 30 minutes to complete if they're brand new users. Just give them sort of an idea of what to expect. And then I am going to ask them to print and bring their PDF for the meeting. And then I do also have my contact information there, so that way they have some way to get a hold of me should they have any questions. And this information is alongside their link. It's in the same email. So all of that's in one nice little spot for them. Once I have this the way that I like it, I'll go ahead and click OK. If I didn't want to add in any extra information, I could click cancel to bypass on the second pop-up, and then it wouldn't take me to this screen to where I would create a custom message, but the codes would still be generated. When I get this green bar across the top of the screen that says the action you've requested has been completed, I know that my codes are queued. They're getting ready to be sent out. I can double check when I'm going to get them delivered, if there's a reminder set, and then I also do get to double check who I am going to be sending it to. If I forgot somebody or I need to grab another report, I can click on this down here. It'll take me back to where I'm adding my respondents, or if I need to do anything else in Epic, I can just start fresh. I do want to point out a couple pieces inside Epic. So as an administrator, you do get notification when your participants complete. So once They start coming in if you just want to view them one-off. So you're able to go into this view print email completed report section, and that way you can search for your participants there. If you do want to do a batch download and get all of your Catalyst reports for a presentation or something that you're doing, you're welcome to do that. You can do batch functions, generate reports for download. And then if you do have quite a few people that you want to upgrade to Catalyst, we would take a look at this batch function, Catalyst upgrade from existing reports. And so I will point out that it does have a limit that you can do at one time, which is 150 people. If you do have quite a large admin account with a lot of people in it, just keep that in mind. You're only going to be able to do this in batches of 150. That's not a hard stop of only converting 150. It's just 150 at a time. You're able to search for your people or take advantage of doing that another Excel template if you wanted to do that. And then you can upload that. So we'll switch our gear one more time. We're going to go into the participant view. And so my admin has sent me a link for me to take my questionnaire. And now we're going to take a look at what the learners are going to see. And if I'm a brand new learner, what kind of email am I expecting? So when you, as a learner, get your email, it's going to have a subject line similar to this saying experience everything DISC on Catalyst. It's going to call me out and have my name right up top here, letting me know it's kind of a familiar thing. It's going to tell me who sent this to me. It's going to have some instructions for me as well on kind of what I'm supposed to do. And then my contact information. So this is that information that if I would have typed anything in there, that's where that would show up. And then I'm going to click on that link. It says create your account. It's going to take me over to a website to where I can enter in both my email and create a password, making a login for this Catalyst platform. I do get to create my first and last name. I do also get to select what department I'm in, and I get to put an image if I want to. So when I click on Let's Go, I get a couple options. I can jump straight in, take my assessment, or I can do the DISCology and learn about DISC before I take my assessment. But once I click Take My Assessment, I get a demographics option for me to take or skip. And then once I launch into the platform, I'm going to be answering questions on a sliding scale, 1 to 5, strongly agree versus strongly disagree. And you'll notice up top that bar, my progress bar, is going, this is for a brand new learner. So they're starting from scratch. They're going to go through, answer these questions. And then once they're done, it's going to launch them straight over into Catalyst, where they can learn about their style. They can compare with a colleague. They can do all of the fun things that come alongside Catalyst. Now, the existing learner or upgrading a learner, similar concept, email's just a little different. So they still get that email, but it says continue your DISC journey. It's still going to have that piece where it calls me out by name, tell me who sent it to me, those 3 key pieces on how do I do this. It's still going to have contact information from the person who sent it to me. When I click on this link, I do get to create a login again, email and password. And then it's going to take me into the Take My Assessment. Again, I still have access to the DISCology if I want it. I can take or skip my demographics. And then I can go ahead and click on that Let's Go and start the questionnaire. But the biggest difference is this progress bar up top here is going to say, I'm about halfway done, meaning I've already answered a bunch of the questions that are DISC related. So I'm just going to answer maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of questions. And then it's going to take me straight over into that Catalyst platform. That's the benefit for your participant side, not to mention that it's like a free option for you to upgrade your learner, but it's a huge benefit to your participant because they don't have to answer quite as many questions. So once I'm done as a participant, I'm going to go ahead and it's going to spin for a second and it's going to launch me straight into that Catalyst platform. And again, it's going to tell me where I can go learn about my style. I can compare with a colleague. I can build groups. I can do all of those fun things inside Catalyst. So let's take a look at the Catalyst platform. We're still in with those participant vision goggles, and we're taking a look at what Catalyst has to offer for your participant. Okay, so Tammy is going to be our sample person today. And so Tammy is a C style, and we get to learn all about Tammy. Tammy's just finished her questionnaire, or she's returning and coming back and taking a look at Catalyst. Right away, Tammy gets to learn about her style. I can, as Tammy, go in and compare as a colleague. I can go ahead and build a group, or I can get advice. Those are those top 3 pieces that Catalyst gives you for tools. When you do the compare a colleague, this is where the organization piece comes into play. I'm only seeing those that are inside my organization. If I scroll down just a little bit more, I get to look at those learning modules. And so as a default, everybody within Catalyst is going to get workplace on Catalyst, and they're also going to get this DISCology piece. These other 2 right here, these are those additional applications that you would have had to pay those 10 extra credits for to get management and Agile EQ. I'll show you what's in those a little bit so you can kind of get a feel for them and see that they are also a benefit to give to your participants. But it's nice to have those kind of in your back pocket as kind of a secondary, bring people back over here to Catalyst side. So we'll scroll back up here to the top. You do get an opportunity to learn about your style. The piece that everybody loves in those traditional profiles, that your dot tells a story, is not gone. It is still there. You get that full piece and learn about your style. This is the part that everybody really resonates with. In their original traditional workplace profile, say it was like page 4, I think. This was like the bottom line. Read this and get a feel for how accurate these profiles are for you. You do still get that cornerstone principles. And then with Catalyst, they also get a really cool feature where they can listen to a style podcast that's specific to their style. They can download this if it's something they want to listen to while they're driving or something like that. They are able to do that. And then if we go back to that home page, I'm going to jump down here to these learning modules, and I'll show you how it loops back into those groups here in just a second, and those colleagues pieces here. So if I'm a brand new person to Catalyst and I just have access to the workplace learning modules, these are the ones that I'm going to see. I'm going to see what drives me and other styles, and then building better relationships. And so if I want to take a look at this, if you've taken an Everything Disc workplace profile, that traditional profile before, these headlines are going to look fairly similar. The content didn't change much, which is why the shift to Catalyst may look intimidating, but it's got a lot of the same content and that familiarity from those traditional profiles, like I mentioned earlier. So you do get to see you in the D style. Let's see, Tammy is a C style. So if I was to go to the direct opposite of Tammy and I wanted to look at those I styles, I could see what their style is and kind of what common characteristics for them are. I can learn what motivates them. I get a visual representation, and then I get some videos that Wiley has put together, not just of a solid I style, but some of those hybrid I styles as well, like an ID or an IS is in there as well. As you're scrolling down, it pulls up people you may know inside your organization that are in that style. So if I'm a C style as Tammy, how do I work with an I style? And then I get that connection that shows who is an I style, and I can go in and connect and compare with these colleagues and understand how to work with Ray or work with Bradley or work with Eliza. If there's more people, you can scroll through different pages. I can do a little bit deeper dive, and then it's just going to walk me all the way through. I can learn about the S style. And again, it's going to show me their tendencies, some videos, and some people that I'm going to know that are in those styles. It's going to show me who are also in my style and how do I work with people in my style, because it's important to know how to work with similar styles as it is to work with styles that are completely opposite of you. If you're done with that you and other styles section and you want to go into that building better relationships, this is where you get into that connecting with the different styles. And so if I come in here and I want to connect with an S style, when problems need to get solved or when things get tense. And then again, looping back in, well, who are people that I may know inside that region, and going into the connecting with the different styles. At the bottoms of these pages, there's always going to be these more ways to explore. And as a participant, I can either carry on with these, or this could be a benefit as a facilitator, because it's basically guided in a way. You could take advantage when you're giving your participants a little bit of areas to go or navigation tips. Take advantage of these more ways to explore and let them go through. Obviously, if I only have access to the workplace learning modules, not all of the content is going to be there for me. Like if I don't have EQ, that's not going to show up for me, but I can still go into my DISC style, or I can loop into my colleagues piece. If 6 months down the road and I'm in a management position, I get access to the management learning modules. I'm going to get 6 learning modules in total. And I'm going to get a management overview. I'm going to get my management style. I'm going to get how to direct and delegate, motivate my people, develop talent, and the cool feature of how do I manage up. If my manager has also taken Catalyst and is also in this organization, I'm going to be able to get a little bit of inside information on how to work with my manager, which is always nice. If we take a look at the motivation piece, it's going to give you information on the environment that you create as a manager and what that looks like for people that work underneath you. And then how do you adapt this to others? So if I know I'm a C style as Tammy, I'm going to try to motivate an I style, which is the opposite of me. So how do I get over there and do that? What are their motivation needs? What demotivates them? How does conflict play in? How do I adapt to them? And then again, looping in who those people are that would potentially work under me, and I would need to motivate them. And I get to do that for all of those styles. So if I know that I'm going to be working with my team's primarily S's, how do I motivate the S style, and what do I got to do for that? If I were to take a look at that managing up section, again, this is how your manager sees you, kind of what environment you're creating with that as well. If I know what my manager is, I can either type their name in here, or how do I manage up if I know my manager is an I style? What does that look like? So how do I adapt? How do I get their buy-in and that type of stuff? There's always going to be these little videos that Wiley has put together for these as well. If I'm maybe not a manager, but I got access to the Agile EQ and I wanted to learn a little bit more about my emotional intelligence, I would get access to these learning modules. So I would get to understand what emotional intelligence is, or EQ. I would learn about my strengths. I would learn how to go beyond my comfort zone, and then I would learn how to develop that. So if I look at this beyond my comfort zone learning module, I'm going to see what mine are. This is my comfort zone. As Tammy, I'm objective, I'm resolute, and I'm self-assured. But dynamic, outgoing, empathizing, receptive, and composed maybe aren't as comfortable for me to sit in those priorities. So if I come into the dynamic mindset, how do I get over there? Why would I go over there? And how much effort is it actually going to take for me to get over to that side? If I look at the composed mindset, it's not going to take Tammy so much effort to get over there, but it's maybe not a comfort zone of hers. So why would she do it? And some videos on what that composed mindset looks like. If I go back in here and maybe I just want to look at my strengths as the EQ. So I'm going to look at my objective, resolute, and self-assured, what that means for me. Tammy being objective allows her to do the following areas where I might run into trouble, and then follow through into those other priorities of Tammy's comfort zone. Everybody by default is going to have access to the DISCology section. This is what is provided before they take the questionnaire if they want to take a look at the DISCology. So if you do have a brand new group to DISC and you want to tell them take a look at DISCology either before or after they complete their questionnaire, they're going to have access to these areas so they can learn about the DISC model. They get the 12 styles, You're going to have people who are going to want that understanding of the research and the validity behind it, where the theory came from, and that history piece. I think this is really nice that this is available to just everybody who's taken a Catalyst profile or getting ready to take a Catalyst profile, so you know what you're about ready to do. As far as kind of that community piece on Catalyst, the tools that go along with the Catalyst platform are these three. So we have the compare to a colleague, build a group, and get advice. We kind of touched on the compare to a colleague, where I could go in and I could connect with people. I could see them trickled throughout the different areas in the different learning modules, kind of looping back into that. But if I know maybe I'm getting ready to go into a project and I don't maybe know what somebody's style is, and I wanted to go in, say I want to work with Shelly, I would get a kind of a rundown on how we would work together. So what our maps look like, where my dot placement is, where Shelly's is, those priorities for her. And we can look at some similarities and some differences. We get to compare our tendencies and see if we fall on the same side or opposite sides throughout. We can expand on these continuas. And then when I get ready to start working with Shelly, what does that look like? So if things get tense, how do I work with Shelly? When I want to connect with her, collaborate, or get that buy-in. And there's benefits and roadblocks to both, along with some tips. And again, that more ways to explore. If I know Shelly is a D style and I just want to know about just the generalized D style, maybe a little bit more, building that better relationship, I can dive into that if I wanted to. In that your colleague section, there is a filter option. So if I know that part of my facilitation homework was to go in and connect with somebody who's opposite of me, if I'm a C style and I only want to look at I styles, I could do that and just pull this information here. And then I can go in and connect and compare. If I wanted to go by group, which I'll show you how to do that, build those groups here in just a second. But if I just wanted to see that group that I have there and just kind of look at that whole team holistically, I could do that. Or if I wanted to go by department, I could do that as well. Maybe the filter option isn't something that you frequently use, but it is something as a facilitator to kind of keep that in your back pocket. You do have that ability as a participant to narrow things down a little bit if you wanted to. When we go back into that home section, if I wanted to build a group, I know that I'm getting ready to do a big group project and I want to take a look at everybody. I can do that inside my Catalyst platform. I do get to see everybody who's inside my organization, and I can create as many groups as I would like. I can edit those groups. I can pull that in, pull people out. I can add people in if somebody leaves or joins a team. You can do all of that. You do get a visual representation of the group map, and so everybody's dot placement, you can see if they're close to the outside, if they're close to the center. You get some style insights. And so people in the different styles, what that might mean, what they care about. I can do group insights. And so I get a visual representation of the percentages. And then I can understand a little bit more if I'm heavy on one side or not so much on the other, what that means for my team. I can look at my group continuas to see maybe who is more accommodating versus strong-willed. I can take a look at that private or outgoing. And again, getting those visual representations are always super nice. There's quite a few continuas you can take a look at. And then that conversation starters that I had mentioned a little bit earlier. So these are really nice features for your groups. If this is a group that you meet with frequently and you want to kind of loop DISC into your conversation, and my facilitator has told me to come in here and get to know my team, this is something I could bring into a virtual or an in-person meeting, and it's going to give you a little bit of an idea on what to do with the information. So plan to spend about 8 to 15 minutes on each of the 3 screens. Obviously, those times are flexible. If you have a larger group, maybe a little bit more time, a smaller group, a little bit less time, but you can go ahead and do that, get started, and take advantage of those conversation starters. And then that last piece, this brand new piece to Catalyst, is the get advice. So if I need connecting, collaborating, getting buy-in, or managing tension with a style or a specific person, I click on this managing tension, and who do I want to manage tension with? Search for that colleague. So if I know that me and Ray have maybe been butting heads a little bit, and maybe it's because we're different styles, or maybe it's not. Managing tension with Ray and giving some helpful insights on what might help bridge that gap. So maybe there's less tension between me and Ray. So things to keep in mind. What do I need to do to take action? And if I want advice on another topic with Ray, or if I just want to start completely over, I can do that as well. So Catalyst, from a participant perspective, is going to be super helpful as a tool that they can take advantage of and come back and revisit. But when we look at things from a facilitator standpoint, we put on our facilitator goggles. This is where you get the opportunity to guide them through that platform. And so you can take advantage of that facilitation kit that we have available. Inside that facilitation kit does come with customizable presentations. It walks them through, or you as the facilitator helps you walk them through that introduction, your colleagues piece, all of the applications. So even if you're not using management right now, it has those learning modules available to you. It has some support materials and some handouts. It has the capability to do both in-person and virtual settings. It helps you do bite-sized trainings, right? If you're bringing everybody together to do those in a 20-minute check-in or something like that, you can do those. But it sets you up for those return and learn opportunities. Taking advantage of just trickling Catalyst throughout and DISC throughout your organization and making it a part of your core common language is where Catalyst comes into play. You do have an opportunity, if you have a everything DISC facilitation kit, to get a free upgrade through the end of 2024. All you need is your serial number and the link to register your kit if it's not already registered. If you purchased your facilitation kit from us at DISCprofile.com, let us know if you don't have your serial kit number and we can try to find that for you. You just send us an email and we can dive into some past purchases and see what we can come up with. Kind of a best practice, piggybacking off of what I had talked about earlier, is those smaller presentations, taking advantage of that return and learn option, but allowing you the freedom to adapt the content to your organization. Like I said, it's hard to get everybody either in the office or to sit down and talk about this for an extended amount of time. So if you need to break it up, do that. Giving your learners a little bit of homework before they come to the sessions, suggesting areas for them to go. We saw that piece where it talks about more areas to explore. Take advantage of that. Go into Catalyst on your end from your perspective and kind of walk through some areas where you want people to go and take a look at those more areas to explore. Using the introduction and the recap of the everything DISC, that DISCology piece, is super helpful. Using the script that comes in those facilitation kits, Wiley put those together, which is the publisher, and they have really nice ways to say things that I think benefit the platform and the profile. So maybe you don't use it word for word, but you pull some pieces from them. And then the other best practice that we've seen be successful for people who are doing a facilitation is have Catalyst, the platform, open alongside your presentation. This helps, especially if you're going to give them areas that they need to go and go back to. They can see a visual representation, or if it's areas that they've been because of the homework that you gave them, they can kind of make that connection. Catalyst is also visible on mobile. There's a few different ways for you to stay connected with us at DISCprofile.com. We do have a YouTube that is going to be housing a bunch of instructional videos to come. Informational videos and stuff like that. We also have a Facebook where you can connect with other practitioners, people who are doing these facilitations, bounce ideas off of each other. It's a really nice community for you to engage with people who are doing things very similar to you. We also have a LinkedIn similar to our Facebook, areas for you to bounce ideas off of each other. We have what we call a learning hub. There is a plethora of information on DISCprofiles.com. It's DISC related. It's not just specific to Catalyst. And then we do have a newsletter that we send out once a month. It has a lot of great content in it. If you wanted to sign up for that, you can do that on the bottom of our website at the footer of discprofile.com. You're welcome to do that. I want to go ahead and thank you for your time. I do know that I put a lot of information into this presentation, so don't be afraid to reach out to us. We have a couple emails for you, as well as phone numbers, both US and Canada. And in case you wanted a visual of putting a face to the name, this is the discprofile.com team. So we are all happy to help you. My name is Amy. And then I have a customer service team with Kristen and Natalie. Those are going to be the people you're likely to get on the phone. If you do call in or send us an email, we would probably be the people to respond to you. But feel free to reach out. And if you wanted the additional links that I put in here, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.